This is probably the most overestimated piece of gear that I bought in 2025. And you know, I really wanted this to work out. This is the Insta360 X4, and I got it on a pretty big discount last year because of the new releases, newer models, stuff like that. But you would think a piece of gear that's not more than 2 years old would have some benefits to it. And you know, to be fair, it does. But there's also some things that I really didn't like about it. That's a theme heading into 2026. Companies are constantly coming out with new gear all the time. Every month I feel like I get an email or something like that saying that there's new gear coming out and I have to have it. But one thing that I like to take a step back and look at is some of these we really hype up and some of them kind of slide under the radar and become way more useful than we initially thought. Let's take a look at some of the gear that I overestimated and underestimated in 2025 heading into 2026.
What is being so bad? Tell your mom's kids being so bad. What?
Okay, so we'll start off with some rules. First off, this isn't a best of 2025 video. This is not gonna be, this is the best gear that I bought, this is the best gear that you should buy. This isn't anything like this. Basically, you wanna make a decision, maybe this will help you come to that conclusion. You have a different situation than I do. So maybe some of these things like the X4 are something that you absolutely need in your kit. For me, it wasn't there. But hopefully seeing somebody else's opinion will help you understand the same gear can be right or wrong, just depending on the context that you use it in. Okay, so the first thing on my list that I say is overestimated was the Insta360 X4. Now, I know that new versions of this came out last year. However, this was on a very steep discount because of those new versions coming out. And frankly, I didn't have the money to buy the new one, so I got the old one. So what is this thing supposed to do? Well, it's supposed to record 360 degrees. It's supposed to be more of an action cam. You know, it does that, to be honest. But here's one of the things. I normally shoot sports and I normally shoot things that are taking place at night. And this is absolute trash in the nighttime. Now, maybe I didn't have all the settings correct or whatnot, but I'm not trying to fiddle around with it while I'm trying to take shots of an event that's going on live that I can't pause people for. Okay, also, you know, you would think that for an action cam, this would be smaller. It's big as hell. Like this is a pretty big action cam. And you know, Insta360, they have other cams that probably would do better than this if you want something small, concealable, or, you know, that can fit into places, like a helmet cam. Like imagine running around with this thing on your head. That'd be too big. This is my GoPro Max, the first iteration of it. I don't have the second one, which I might honestly think about instead of this. And basically, this was nice and small. It fit well onto things. This thing is just, it's just, come on. It's just weird. I don't love the shape or the build of it. Also, the lenses, they seem to be made out of absolute junk. I got this and already there was some pitting in the lens or scratches on the lens. And I think that's just a quality control thing. I don't think everybody's Insta360 X4 came like that. But I got it off Amazon and I bought it as brand new and I would assume that it was brand new. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe that didn't come into it. No, it came into all my pictures, all my videos. There was a little bit in there. And see if you can even see that. You see those little scratches there? They're very small, but they matter. They came up in my footage. So this is not all terrible, okay? The battery seems to be really great. One of the shoots I did on this in the morning time, we were at a pool filming, so we did a lot of underwater shoots with this, and then we rolled right into a theme park production later that night, all the way to 1:30 a.m. And this wasn't the main camera that we were shooting with, but I did shoot with this quite a bit, and I didn't have to charge the battery at all, which is really good. That really is all-day battery, so I was very impressed by the battery life. The other thing too is that inside it has USB-C charging. So most phones right now are USB-C, so you might already have a power bank that you can connect right to it through USB-C and charge it right on the go. The other thing is that the stabilization felt really good. So I had it on a monopod and, walking around with it in the air, whatever we were doing. And the stabilization felt really good on this. It wasn't super shaky footage. There's some footage I didn't even have to use warp stabilizer on. I know that this is rated well. People love these Insta360 X series. If I were you, I would either skip the X4 totally and save up a little bit more to go with the X5, or maybe go to GoPro's Max 2, which is probably where I'm going to go, maybe just because I'm familiar with it. So the Insta360 X4 is probably for content creators who want a lot of flexibility in post. The 360 is pretty good. The stitching seems all right. If you're creating a cool shot for social media and you're an enthusiast, this would be good for you. Also, those who are adventure or travel, or people who are just shooting stuff run and gun, it is, even though it's big, it is compact enough that it could fit in your pocket and just take it out and go and start recording. It's not bad for that. It's less ideal for those of us who need that low light enhancement, need a better ISO range. Also, if you're really rough on some of these action cameras, then this is not going to be the one for you. I know it comes with little lens bubbles that you can put over there, but that warps your footage. So it's not always practical to use that. And in 2025, this camera just didn't do it for me. Now, on the opposite side, a piece of gear that I severely underestimated is going to be this. And this is the Aperture MC little mini light here. Now, my school that I work at got a bunch of these, and after using them for 1 or 2 shoots, I had to run out and get my own. The Aperture MC are basically little travel video lights here that are used, obviously, wherever you want. They're wireless, they turn on, they're bright. And for these ones in particular, they have a range from 3200 Kelvin to, I believe the top is going to be 6500. Yeah, 6500. So 3200 to 6500 Kelvin. It's RGB WW, I think they call it, which is just the white version. If you are needing RGB coloring, then I think you have to go with the Pro model. These aren't the Pro model. These came in a pack of 4, and the pack is great because they are wireless charging, and you just slap them in there and they charge, and the pack holds a charge, and you just plug in the pack. What I like about these is they are awesomely portable. I mean, they're small and powerful. They are smaller than my phone and just slightly thicker, and they fit in my pocket real easily. I could bring multiple of these in my pocket, and sometimes you will want to use multiple of these. Speaking of using multiple of them, you can get an app, the Cydius app, that can link these together, and you can link up to 100 of them together. Now, that sounds like a nightmare, but it's still capable of doing it. Also, these as well, just like with the Instapro X4, have USB-C charging on them, which is great because, again, if you can just have one power bank with one wire and it'll be able to charge different things. These also have wireless charging on them, so you can put them on a wireless charger and it will just charge up just like your phone would. Now, some downfalls of these is they're not meant to be a key light, okay, or a main light. They leave a lot of shadows, so you really want to use them as fills or as different lights in your scene to light up different areas of your scene. But I wouldn't use this as a key light, even though you can get the little diffuser on it, and the 4-pack comes with 2 of the diffusers. I don't know why. I love these diffusers, but they don't necessarily perfect the harsh lighting that you can get from these little lights. Also, the controls, there's an on-off switch, and then there's a little dial here that also clicks. That's kind of clunky to me. I feel like just up-down buttons would have worked fine, but they tried this little spinny wheel, and I don't know. It was a little clunky. So these are best for people who want compact accent lighting, people who want controlled fill lights or controlled RGB lights if you get the RGB version. And again, for those who do travel or adventure videos, these are small. They'll fit in your bag and fit in any kind of bag in your pocket. They do have the thread on the bottom here, so you can mount them to different things if you want. And also, if I didn't mention already, they are magnetic, and the magnets are pretty strong. They're not for people who need a key light or somebody who wants to light up a big scene. While they are powerful, they're not the best at lighting up big areas. Also, the controls on them, again, are clunky, and they're kind of, you just set them, place them, and then forget about them. Batteries last a really long time, but if you need a lot of changes to them, it does get a little annoying. But these are a main staple in my pack in 2025. If you don't have good video lights that are small and compact like this, I highly recommend the Aperture MCs moving into 2026. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my favorite product that I got in 2025 that, unless they come out with a new one, I'm going to keep using this for as long as I can. And that is going to be the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. This thing was my favorite tool that I got. I had a sneaky suspicion that it would be, but for my purposes, this thing was absolutely great. Number one, it's got a ridiculous 1-inch CMOS sensor on it that performs absolutely crazy in low light. And that's not even with the low light setting. There's a low light setting on it that even makes it better, but I don't get a whole bunch of noise in my low light videos, and it just works really well. Number two is, you would imagine that something like this that has a little gimbal head on it has good stabilization. Well, guess what? You're right. This thing has great stabilization on it. It's got the little head on top, and it locks on very well and keeps everything super steady. This is honestly, without bringing around a giant gimbal, this thing has one of the best gimbal heads on it. Another thing that I like about it is it shoots in 4K, which is great for something that this small, and the 4K looks pretty good. So it's definitely something that I like about this. You always like to have good, nice quality footage, and the Pocket 3 really does that. The other thing too is that it works perfectly with the DJI mics system, the wireless mics. So these mics just connect right to it. And basically what they do is they will connect to it, and you don't need a receiver. It has a built-in receiver for it. So as soon as I pull out the mic, I'm good to go recording on my Pocket Osmo. And you can actually use the mics to start and stop the filming as well. So you can use it as a wireless trigger. The Pocket Osmo is super fast. It does come with this little case in there to protect the gimbal when it's in your bag, but in all honesty, you could just pull it out, flip the switch, and you're already on and ready to go. You can go ahead and hit record on that, and it's just going to start recording automatically. To turn it off, you just would flip this screen again, try and do it mirrored backwards, and then it turns off, right back into its case, and toss it in your bag. Don't toss it because it'll probably break. Some things that I wish, and this might be more of a wish list, because again, this is the most underrated product I had in 2025, but I wish that this was waterproof somehow. I don't know why I feel like this should be an action cam, but I think that would be pretty interesting to see a unit like this as an action cam, maybe with some kind of safety restraints in the gimbal, because action cams tend to get dinged and dented a little bit. Speaking of that, the other negative I have is that it does seem pretty fragile. So the gimbal itself does seem a little bit fragile, that if you touch it, it might end up breaking. And I've actually had, my kids been like, what's this? And just move it. And it's working fine, but it makes me nervous still. And then the last thing is there's only a 20mm wide angle on it. So you get nice, cool shots, but that's it. You don't have any other options on what you want to see. 20mm wide angle, that's it. So who's this for? Well, number one, it's for vloggers or content creators on the go. This is literally a travel kit for you. This is great. If you're a vlogger or a content creator that moves on the go, this is your perfect camera for you. Also, people who are just traveling and running gun shooters, when I do go on business trips to different areas I haven't been to, I'm bringing this along. It's real easy to just pull out, start shooting, and get different types of video from different areas. It's also for creators who want stabilized footage that they can turn cinematic. It does have a control on the front of it here, so if you want to manually turn the gimbal head, you can. You can also set paths for it to pan, tilt, do whatever like that, and it really makes things easy on that front. And also those of you who want a balance between high-end gear and stabilization. I have a big bulky stabilizer for my main camera, but I can't just bring that around everywhere I am. That you have to bring around with purpose. This I can literally throw in my pocket and not even care if I use it or not, because it doesn't take up much bag real estate. It's not ideal for people who are more hardcore action or sports videographers. It doesn't have the greatest zoom. It's a digital zoom on it as well. And again, with it being fragile, it's not going to work the best for those situations. Also, anybody who needs weatherproof or waterproofing, this is not, I would not put this near water. There's a lot of open parts on it, especially the SD card is completely open. So keep that in mind. And also, if you're looking for variable zoom or aperture or things like that, this one isn't going to be for you. But like I said, this is the best thing I had in 2025. Definitely putting a priority spot in my bag for 2026 and hopefully 2027. Okay, and another piece of gear that I think I overestimated because I had high hopes for is this piece right here. It's the Elano or something like that. Little battery charger pack here. It says designed for cameras. I mean, obviously it charges, you know, LP E17 batteries. Can't really fit those in your phone. But other than that, it's a good piece. It just disappointed me. Number one, it really can only charge 2 batteries, and it only has the spot for 2 batteries. So it's kind of like bringing around 2 extra batteries in a much bigger container. Speaking of its container, that's another thing I didn't like about it is it's big. You know, we compared the other one to my phone, and this is about the same size as my Pro, except it's way thicker. And that takes up a lot of space in your bag, and you can't really get that space back. I do like that it's, I guess, square. It's not like a weird shape, so it can fit in nicely with things. But it's just big for what I think it is. Also, the build quality is good and bad at the same time. Like, I feel like it feels sturdy, but when you open the door and these things spring out, this feels so flimsy, and I've actually knocked this door off just by opening it before. So I don't know. I feel like there should be more satisfying click. Let's listen. I don't know. That doesn't sound satisfying to me. I felt like that's a missed opportunity. Also, something with this is, I don't know, maybe I'm just scared of these batteries that it comes with. You know, these things feel like they're ready to swell up and explode in my bag right now. And they're not old. They're LPE 17s for my R50V, and I'm just afraid of them. What I do like about it is, though, it does have 2 USB-C chargers out here, and it can charge other devices. So this I mostly use to power my DJI Osmo when I needed to recharge that, or my X4, or my MC lights. I can plug all of them into this and it'll charge it. So that was kind of nice because it's not just the batteries inside that are charging. However, if you put dead batteries inside of it, it's going to use its internal battery to charge those instead of the USB-C chargers. Also, it does have a screen here, so if you notice when I open it and close it, it's at 0% because it's not even charged. But that screen is pretty helpful in the sense that it tells you how much left is in the battery, tells you channel 1, channel 2 are basically what batteries are in there and what their percentage is at. So I have a dead battery pack with 2 dead batteries in it. So yeah, So who's this good for? Well, you know, photographers or videographers who use these type of batteries. Most of the time I say photographers because videographers, a lot of times we use V-mount batteries, and this is just useless for us. So this is mostly going to be for photographers, and it does hold extra batteries and charge them. So it does do what it's advertised to do. I just didn't find it useful for that. I found it like a power bank that also could charge my batteries. Also, you got to think if you're traveling and you don't have access to outlets, getting a power bank is always great for that because you can just use your wires and wherever you are, your USB-C and charge your stuff without having to worry about any kind of international conversions or anything like that. And you know, this is the LPE 17. I do some photography on the Canon RP as well, so that's why it was nice because it could be used for multiple cameras. However, they have to have that one battery type. I'm pretty sure you could get this in different versions, maybe an LPE 6 or something like that, but this, I just have the LPE 17. I thought this was going to be a game changer, and unfortunately it was just okay. So I got a little bonus here is I got a new piece of gear, this small rig wireless kind of display that has MagSafe for your phone on the back. It allows you to screen share what is on your phone with this little display. It allows me to put this right on the back of my phone so I can then see what my back camera, so I can use my back cameras instead of the little front camera. And basically that helps me out because now I can use the cameras that this phone was powerful with. And one of the reasons why I like it is it doesn't have to be attached to be used. I can take this apart and use this as basically a monitor, a viewing monitor that's wireless. And this thing is, I got it for less than $50, but I think it's around 60 to 70. So bonus to this is next video that I'm going to do, I'll spend some time with this and I'll let you know, is this going to be an overestimated or underestimated piece of gear, and tell you what's good for its value. You know, honestly, I can't see this being a bad piece of gear for how much I got it for. So when I look at all this stuff, the gear that I overestimated was gear that I thought was going to unlock new possibilities, like the X4 and the battery pack. I thought they were going to do something that they just didn't do it for me. Will they do it for you? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. And the gear that I underestimated was gear that just made my life easier. The Pocket Osmo really replaced having to bring a big camera around with me everywhere. It's not for professional shoots, but for anything that I want to release on YouTube or anything that I want to make just for home videos. I mean, I can't see why I wouldn't want to use that Pocket Osmo everywhere. And having good lighting is beneficial for any video, and those MC lights make any lighting area better. Honestly, some of this could flip next year. Maybe I get a piece of gear that replaces the Osmo, and I think I overestimated the Osmo for 2026. If my work changes, my expectations might change, and that's kind of the point. You only need the right gear for the right job, right? This is what Pixel Pals is all about. Figuring out what's going to go into your bag and use up your precious bag real estate. We don't all have Peter McKinnon money where we can buy these giant bags to fit everything we need. If that kind of thinking is useful to you, well then hey, you might like what we're building here. If it's not useful to you, well, I mean, now at least you know what I regret spending money on in 2025. Thanks for watching the video. Tell your moms, tell your kids, Pixel Pals.
Pixel Pals roll the scene, every cut's a brand. Lights, camera, action, gotta keep it in demand. Rigs run smooth, view from the heights we climb. The opposite of poker, you can't beat the one of a kind. Okay, let's get pixel visual. Growing channel strong, got them passing the physical in the